dbForge Studio is the most powerful all-in-one tool for developing, managing, and maintaining SQL Server databases. The Studio delivers quite a few essential features that SSMS lacks. Let's have a look at them. Code completion. dbForge Studio comes with more sophisticated IntelliSense as compared to SSMS. For example, as you type, the Studio prompts context-relevant keywords and database object names. When entering SQL code, you can also benefit from auto-generated joins. Among the features that notably speed up database development and fill the gaps of SSMS, we should also mention the Quick Info tooltips, allowing you to view extended information about database objects, and Asterisk wildcard expansion, letting you explicitly list all the columns of a table or view. Code formatter. In dbForge Studio, unlike SSMS, you can format the code you've written using the built-in formatter, which has 9 predefined profiles. Let's format our query and thus bring it to corporate standards in a couple of clicks. The formatter has more than 1,000 options, designed to let you flexibly customize your code layout. Just create a custom profile with the required settings and use it when formatting. More than that, the formatter functionality can be used from the command line. All you need to do is specify the files to be formatted and the formatting profile to be applied. This way, using dbForge Studio, you can automate formatting tasks. SSMS does not offer this functionality. Next goes Schema Compare. Using the Studio, you can conveniently compare and synchronize database schemas located on different versions of SQL Server. Apart from databases, you can compare backup files, script folders, source control repositories, and snapshots. To start the process, all you need to do is configure the comparison settings and simply click the Compare button. After the comparison, you can select the objects to be synchronized. You do not necessarily need to deploy all the changes. Having selected the objects for synchronization, you can automatically generate a command line script that you can later use to automate schema synchronizations. Now just press the Synchronize button and get the result. You can also save the scomp document for future reuse. And again, SSMS does not have this functionality. Let's move on. Data Compare. It's not only schemas, but also data that you can compare with the help of dbForge Studio for SQL Server. As you may have guessed, SSMS lacks this feature as well. The Studio's built-in Data Compare tool allows working with live databases, backups, or script folders. Just select the source and the target, then if necessary, tune the comparison by configuring required options and click the Compare button. Having received and analyzed the comparison results, click the Synchronize button. And again, after specifying the synchronization output, you can automatically generate a command line script that you can then use to automate data synchronizations. Let us now hit Synchronize and deploy the changes. Here, you can also save the decomp document for future reuse. As we have already said, SSMS does not have data compare functionality. Documenter is yet another feature absent from SSMS. dbForge Studio includes a handy database documentation tool allowing you to generate database documentation in HTML, PDF, and Markdown formats. The tool's killer feature is that it generates documentation taking into account all object dependencies. More than that, you can generate documentation for multiple databases at once. Just select the required database and the objects in it that you want to document and click Generate. In the wizard that opens, specify the format of your documentation and click Generate again to generate it. The Documenter functionality can be launched and used from the command line, allowing you to automate the process. To do that, just click Save Command Line and use the script whenever it is required. Let's move on to the next feature delivered exclusively by the Studio, Source Control. Source Control is a powerful tool for managing SQL Server database changes and version control systems. Just select the database you want to version control and launch the tool from the context menu in Database Explorer. dbForge Studio for SQL Server supports all major version control systems such as Subversion, TFS, Git, Perforce, Mercurial, and SourceGear Vault. When you change the source code of an object in the database, Source Control detects these changes and offers you to commit them to a remote repository. This way, dbForge Studio helps maintain the integrity of databases, facilitates communication between development teams, and allows dealing with database deployment much more efficiently. Impressive, right? A quick reminder, you won't find this in SSMS. Now let's take a look at Index Manager. It lets you quickly and easily discover the status of your database indexes and find the tables that need maintenance. dbForge Studio's Index Manager helps fix index issues and automatically generates a SQL script for later use. You can generate a CSV file containing information about fragmented indexes, configure the fragmentation threshold, minimum index size, and index recovery options, as well as generate a command line script to be used for automation. Just click Fix and launch index maintenance. Quite helpful, as you can see. SSMS does not have this functionality. Another feature of dbForge Studio that often comes in handy is unit test. It allows you to write stable and reliable code which you can properly regression test at the unit level. To begin with, you need to install the T-SQL-T unit test framework on the database you are going to test. Next, open the Test List Manager and add a test that will check the created table for the absence of records from it. If there are no records in the table, the test will pass. Otherwise, it will fail. As we can see in our case, the test has failed, which means there are records in the table. We clear the table and run the test again. This time, the test passes. This way, you can easily create unit tests and integrate them with your DevOps. It's very easy, since the unit test functionality can be accessed from the command line. Guess what? SSMS does not boast this functionality either. Next goes Query Builder. With dbForge Studio for SQL Server, you can visually create complex and logical select, insert results, insert values, update, and delete statements without having to type the code manually. Wonder how it's done? Well, with the built-in Query Builder, you can effortlessly create tables, establish relationships between them, set up filtering conditions, and handle subqueries using the Visual Condition Editor. In just a few clicks, you can build queries of any complexity. It's worth noting that SSMS has similar functionality, but it is less user-friendly and lacks rich options to speed up and properly enhance your query building. And last but not least, the DevOps Module. Using dbForge DevOps automation for SQL Server, you can set up any database DevOps process in your company, from development to deployment to a production server. The whole process comprises a single logical chain, which involves all the main tools of dbForge Studio for SQL Server. Each of them is an integral part of this chain. With the PowerShell commandlet invoke Devart format script as an example, you can see how easy it is to automate the formatting process and bring your scripts to a single coding standard that can be adopted in your company. PowerShell makes it possible to employ dbForge's Studio functionality in any automated process. In particular, using the Studio and one of the available plugins for the CI system, you can extend the DevOps approach to your SQL Server database development. The plugins presented on the start page of the Studio allow you to organize DevOps in the most popular continuous integration systems, such as Azure DevOps, Jenkins, TeamCity, and Bamboo. Thus, using dbForge Studio for SQL Server as an alternative to SSMS, you can significantly speed up your daily work with databases, deliver a boost to your performance, and empower yourself with a unique combination of features that you won't find anywhere else. And as a pleasant bonus, you get a super convenient and intuitive interface. Just download a 30-day free trial of dbForge Studio and find out how effortless the database development can be.